You've probably done something highly intelligent and never got credit for it. Because the smartest people are often the easiest to miss. And if that sounds strangely familiar, this video might reveal more about you than you expect. Most people think intelligence is obvious. They imagine top grades, fast answers, perfect speech, or someone who always looks confident in a room. But psychology says something much more interesting. Real intelligence often hides behind behaviors that don't look impressive at all. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like overthinking. Sometimes it looks like feeling different without knowing why. Today we're going to explore 10 hidden signs you're smarter than most people. Not the loud signs, not the obvious signs, the hidden ones. The kind most people overlook, even in themselves. And by the end of this video, you might realize that intelligence is not always about showing more. Sometimes it's about seeing more. Let's begin. 1. You think before you speak. This sounds simple, but it's rare. Most people react. They speak to fill silence. They answer too quickly. They say the first thing that comes to mind. But if you often pause before speaking, it may mean your mind is doing something deeper. You're not just forming words. You're testing them. You're thinking about meaning, tone, timing, impact. And here's the interesting part. A person who speaks less is often assumed to know less. But in reality, many intelligent people speak carefully because they can already see the possible consequences of careless words. That pause is not emptiness, it's processing. 2. You notice things other people miss. A change in someone's tone, a strange contradiction, a small detail in a conversation that doesn't quite fit. You may notice little things that others ignore, and you may not even realize how unusual that is. This is one of the clearest hidden signs of intelligence, because intelligence is not only about knowledge, it's also about pattern recognition. Your brain connects details faster than most people's do. It picks up signals, it senses shifts, it remembers what didn't make sense, and this is where it gets deeper. People who notice more often feel more mentally tired, because the world is louder when your mind catches everything. 3. You question things automatically. You don't accept everything at face value. Even when you stay quiet, your mind is asking, is that true? What's missing here? Why are they saying it this way? What's really going on? That habit can make you feel difficult, different, even disconnected from people who seem comfortable believing whatever they're told. But psychologically, questioning is often a sign of independent thinking. And independent thinking is one of the strongest forms of intelligence, because a smart mind doesn't just absorb information, it examines it. 4. You overthink, but for a reason. Overthinking is exhausting. No doubt about that, but sometimes overthinking is not just anxiety. Sometimes it's what happens when your brain naturally sees multiple possibilities at once. You replay conversations, you analyze decisions, you imagine outcomes before they happen. Now, not all overthinking is intelligence, but highly intelligent people often struggle with mental loops because their minds rarely stop generating angles. They don't just see one answer, they see 5, then 10, then the consequences of each one. That doesn't always make life easier, but it does suggest cognitive depth. Still, there's a price. A sharp mind can help you understand the world, but if you're not careful, it can also trap you inside it. You enjoy being alone. This one surprises people, because society often treats constant social energy as a sign of confidence and success. But many intelligent people genuinely enjoy solitude, not because they hate others, because their minds need space. Time alone gives them room to think, to reflect, to process, to create. Research often links solitude with self-reflection, and self-reflection is deeply connected to higher-level thinking. But here's the interesting part. If you enjoy being alone, people may misunderstand you. They may think you're cold, distant, or antisocial, when in reality, you may just feel more alive in depth than in noise. You change your mind when new evidence appears. This is a hidden sign almost nobody talks about. A lot of people think intelligence means being certain, being decisive, never backing down. But real intelligence is often the opposite. It's the ability to update your beliefs, to admit when you are wrong, to change direction when the truth changes. That requires something most people struggle with: ego control. A weaker mind protects its image. A A stronger mind protects the truth. So if you can genuinely say, I was wrong, without collapsing inside, that is not weakness. That is mental maturity. And mental maturity is a form of intelligence. 7. You feel different in shallow conversations. You can do small talk, but it drains you. You can smile through surface-level interactions, but something inside you disconnects because your mind naturally wants more depth, more honesty, more meaning. This does not mean you think you're better than others. It means your brain is stimulated by depth, not performance. And this is where many intelligent people feel strangely alone, not because they are always alone, but because they often live in a deeper layer than the people around them. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you been surrounded by people, yet still felt mentally elsewhere? That feeling says a lot. 8. You are highly self-aware. You notice your own patterns, your own reactions, your own mistakes, sometimes too much. You can tell when your mood shifts, when your energy drops, when your behavior changes around certain people. This kind of self-awareness can feel heavy because it means you cannot fully hide from yourself. But psychologically, self-awareness is one of the strongest hidden signs of intelligence. Why? Because if you can observe yourself clearly, you can improve yourself consciously, and that is rare. Most people move through life on autopilot, but self-aware people notice the machine while it's still running. You learn quickly from pain. This is a big one. Intelligent people are not always the ones who avoid pain. Often, they are the ones who extract meaning from it. They go through heartbreak, failure, embarrassment, rejection, and instead of only asking, why did this happen? They also ask, what is this teaching me? That question changes everything, because pain can make a person bitter, or it can make them sharper. If you tend to reflect deeply after difficult experiences, if you become wiser after suffering, not just sad, that is a hidden kind of intelligence many people never develop. 10. You often feel like you still don't know enough. This may be the strangest sign of all. The more you learn, the less certain you become. The more you understand, the more complexity you see. And instead of feeling superior, you often feel humbled. That feeling is not stupidity. It is awareness. In psychology, there's a pattern where less informed people are often more confident, while more intelligent people tend to see nuance, uncertainty, and limitation. In simple words, the smarter you are, the more you realize how much you still don't know. And that is why some intelligent people don't look impressive at all. They look thoughtful, careful, quiet, because they are too aware of complexity to pretend life is simple. So what does all of this mean? It means intelligence may not show up in the way you were taught to recognize it. Maybe you're not the loudest person in the room. Maybe you don't always have fast answers. Maybe you overthink. Maybe you need space. Maybe you question too much. Maybe you notice everything and say very little. And maybe that has made you feel out of place. But perhaps the truth is this: you were never behind. You were just operating on a level that doesn't always look impressive from the outside. Because real intelligence is not always visible in performance. Often, it hides in perception, in restraint, in curiosity, in emotional depth, in the ability to see what others miss and still remain quiet about it. So if several of these signs felt personal, don't rush to prove anything to anyone. The most powerful minds rarely need to announce themselves. They reveal themselves slowly in the questions they ask, in the detail they catch, in the silence they can hold. And in the strange way, they make people realize too late that there was much more going on beneath the surface. Because sometimes the clearest sign that you're smarter than most people is that you stopped needing the world to notice first.